Reporting to you live from the Northern Beaches. What are rents doing? Stay tuned. We're with expert property manager Cleo with you.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Where is that? Where is it? Where is it?
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Very good, thanks, Golden Cleo. Look at that.
It's a beauty, isn't it? I've stolen it from Athena this morning so we could give you the live coverage of what rents are doing this morning.
That's a quality prop. Is that one of her birthday presents or just one of
It
many
is one
presents
of
in
her
general?
birthday presents. Yes. And we've all been
Wow.
enjoying it.
Wow. How good is that? Now, Cleo, um, we're seeing mainstream media reporting on rents. We're seeing, and it's conflicting with what we're currently seeing in the markets. It is winter, which you typically think there's a different trajectory in winter because it's winter, particularly when we're Northern Beaches agents. You sort of think, well, the beaches would slow down a little bit. Um, you've got the gift of the gab. We've got the gift of the gab a little bit, where we do a lot of scale in rentals. So we can do 60, 80 residential leases a month. At any one time, we can have 50 or 70 for lease with residential. With commercial, we can have over 100, 120 full lease properties. So we're a really nice little benchmark. And so, in order to see what's trending in the market, not waiting for 3 months to see the results, I wanted to bring you on today to have a little bit of a chat about the residential rental market. It's sort of good news for some, bad news for some. But tell us.
Look, we have seen more stock come available in rentals. Typically, a couple of months ago, we'd only have a few properties on for rent, whereas now we do have a lot more. However, owners are experiencing rent increases when they are reletting their properties. I have relet recently this week, probably 8 properties. And of those 8, I would say 6 have had quite a significant increase from the previous rent. When you're reletting a property that's been relet for the last few years, as in over and over, the increase is smaller, probably only $10 or $20 a week. However, we are seeing some property that hasn't come available for over 3 years, and the increases are substantial. Like I'm talking $150 a week more. So, for those kinds of properties, I think owners may have not increased the rent for their tenant during that duration, and now they're quite shocked as to how the market's going. I do get a lot of clients that say, oh my gosh, wow, okay, rents are very dear. Like you hear the word dear, they're very dear on the beaches at the moment, and it's true. We are quite dear. And the average rental property, I think you sent this morning, sits around 750. That's quite low in my experience. I think it's around the 800, 850 mark for a typical 2 bedder or 2 bath. So yeah, we are sitting on the higher end, that's for sure.
So I'm going to bring up, because I sent this to the team today. This is out of RP data, which sort of looks at, tracks rents the last 10 years. Look at that for a fella.
Beautiful morning graph that Mark sends us in the mornings, keeps us fresh. Love it.
Six, 6 o'clock. I've got nothing to do,
I
so
know.
I'm sending you graphs in the morning to the team. But
Yeah.
that's in 2015. That puppy was 500, and in 10 years later, that puppy's 750. Not double. I would have thought double, but nice little graph.
Yeah, and look, it's always nice for an owner to get a bit more. Their outgoings are going up. The tenants that have been there a long time have had the owner's goodwill as such, though that they haven't been at market. I find that the tenants that are moving around at the moment are tenants looking for a bit of a bargain. They are looking for a bit cheaper rent. They're not upsizing. I feel like they're downsizing and saving a bit of money. But then on the flip side, some of those properties are a lot more expensive than the ones they've been leaving. So I don't know how it all works, but I do have a couple of high-end properties over the $2,000 a month. I had a lady put in her application yesterday. So there are some of those, bigger houses, high-end properties available at the moment as well. But yeah, all in all, I'm finding it a more busy rental market, which is great. And there's a little bit more availability and flexibility for tenants.
So, Cleo, just to put things into perspective, older two-bedroom unit, what does it rent for these days?
Oh, around that 780, 790 for an old fella. Something that's got aircon, dishwasher, maybe had a paint or carpet replacement 5 years ago. I'm going towards the 860 sort of mark. I've got one in Delmar Parade for 890 at the moment. I rented another one in the same block for 900. This one's slightly a little bit more tired, so I've got it at 890. And that's got a car space, internal laundry, balcony, 2 bathroom, so all that stuff. So that's typically where we're sitting in DY. The
One
further,
better?
pardon?
One better?
Two.
What do one betters get?
One betters range anywhere from 580 to 760. Some, may have a little study. The ones in the Carlisle are renting for around 760 that have got a little study nook in there. But for typically a nice 1 bedroom, you're probably looking to around the 680 mark, between 660, 680.
And some
Yeah.
of these rents are allowing landlords to keep their properties. I know Damien, a buddy of mine, for instance, was considering disposing of the property because the rental return wasn't there. But when he just got his rental adjustment, it sort of went pop, and he was like, "Oh, actually," and he got a valuation on it. He's like, "It's actually made some money value capital wise, and
Mhm.
that new rent actually." We can keep this, so it's allowing some landlords to stay in a higher in because it's a higher interest rate, not a high interest rate environment, but a higher interest rate environment. It's allowing them to keep the assets.
Yeah, and look, if you're a landlord out there, don't be afraid to have a negotiation on what you can do with getting your tenant out. I do know that there is a little bit of fear with this legislative um, stuff that's rolled out regarding tenants and vacate notices, 90 days, reason, no reason. If you are needing more money to keep the property, I've had a few tenants that are open to that negotiation and they'll really be honest in what they can afford to pay. I had a owner who said, "Look, I can't hold on to it anymore. I need the tenants out." Gave the tenants a call and they said, "Look, if it's because of the rent, we're happy to pay more. We don't want to move. We're really close to the school. We can make this work." And the owner has negotiated with them, even though their initial thought was, "Let's get an appraisal. I'm going to sell it." So there are avenues and there is a negotiation. Talk to your agent. We talk to the owner on your behalf and vice versa. Have a dialogue and even speak to one of our sales team who are very, very well adversed on both the rentals and sales side of things. And they can give you some really good advice. And, it's non-obligational advice. You need to get, like Mark calls it, a health check every now and again. So get your property health check for sure.
And what is the entry level sort of average house rent for in the beaches?
Oh, over 1,000, around 11 now.
Thousand.
Yeah.
And honest question, probably a harsh question, naughty question. Are you seeing, like, I'm fine? The message I'm hearing out there is business is hard, life is hard, costs are rising. And the reason I say that is I know how we feel and what we do in our business, but as a metric, I'm sort of seeing a little bit of like people are tightening their belts. With our landlords and with our tenants, what's the vibe? Is it tough? Is everyone just cruising, or what's happening? Because rents are going up, interest rates are going up, cost of living's going up. Is everyone okay?
I think everyone is okay. Those that are struggling are not embarrassed to have that dialogue. Look, we just can't afford it. It's times are tough right now. We would have to move. Whereas in the past, I think the climate was more, I'm not going to say that because Northern Beaches people don't usually, financially discuss that sort of stuff. So we were like, they've just moved. We don't know why. Whereas now, I've rolled out quite a few rent reviews because it's coming into October for the landlord if the tenant were to move. And they've been honest. They've said, look, we can't do it. I think generally businesses are hurting a bit. People aren't dining out. I've got friends tonight that have said we've got this app where if you're the first table booked at the restaurant, you get 50% off your entire meal to entice people. And I was like, is that every restaurant? Oh my gosh, I had no idea. I never know about these discounts. I'm always paying full freight. So, yeah, I think that's a good incentive for those businesses. But yeah, I think the tightening of the belt, my husband's a tradie. We felt it last year in particular, with people spending, doing renovations, things like that at home. So I do think at the moment people are more conservative. Wait till summer, that'll all go out the window again. We'll come out of hibernation and everyone will be spending cash everywhere.
People are a little bit like bears, aren't they? In winter, they sort of go through a hibernation, and in summer they come out of the cave and off they go a little bit more.
Yeah, you're less social, you spend less, I think. Unless you're a parent and you've got kids, you're always spending, whether it's
You are
winter or summer. So yeah.
always. All right. So thank you. The message out there today is, in summary, what's the conclusion?
Well, I think rents are still high. I think we're still experiencing increases, and you can typically expect to pay a little bit more, even though it's winter.
Cleo with here, expert property manager. Thank you very much, and thank you to the Golden Mike.
Thank you. I'm signing off.